Let's take a look at the mechanism of dehydration reaction. So this is the example that we've seen before. Dehydration on tert butyl alcohol to give isobutene or 2-methyl-propane. There are 3 steps in the mechanism. The first step is called protonation on the oxygen of the alcohol. So in this first step, the lone pairs of electrons on the oxygen of alcohol will be donated to a proton. So it will get a proton from the hydronium ion in solution. When this oxygen is protonated, there will be a positive charge attached to it. This is called the alkyl oxonium ion. So later you will see that whenever we talk about deprotonation or protonation, which deals with transfer of proton from one molecule to the other, these are generally fast reactions. The second step in the mechanism is called dissociation of tert butyl oxonium ion. So when the oxygen is protonated, the carbon-oxygen bond can be easily broken. The product will be a carbocation, positive charge on carbon. So this elimination reaction also forms carbocation as the intermediate. The third step of the mechanism is the deprotonation of the tert butyl cation. The deprotonation will take place on the adjacent hydrogens, the beta hydrogens. So here, a water molecule serves as the base to grab the proton on the adjacent carbon of the carbocation. The electron in that carbon-hydrogen bond will move to the carbocation to form the carbon-carbon double bond. So again, deprotonation takes place on the adjacent hydrogen. That's how the double bond is formed. Again, this last step deals with proton transfer, so it's a relatively fast step. While the second step, dissociation of the oxonium ion to form carbocation, will be the slow step. As a result, the second step, the formation of carbocation, will be the rate-determining step of the overall reaction. Rate-determining step will always be the slowest step in the mechanism, and it determines the overall rate of the reaction. So I want you to take another look at the second step. Starting material is the alkyl oxonium ion. Product is the carbocation. So let's take a look at the energy diagram. This mechanism has 3 steps, so we should have 3 humps in the mechanism, as shown here. The first step is the formation of alkyl oxonium ion, protonation, so activation energy is relatively low. Second step, the slowest step, formation of carbocation, the activation energy is the highest. The third step is deprotonation, fast reaction, activation energy not very high. The 2 values in the energy diagram. First one is the alkyl oxonium ion. Second one is the carbocation, the 2 intermediates involved in the reaction, right? For the second reaction, so just now I asked you to look at that second step one more time, right? On the reactant side of that step, we have only alkyl oxonium ion. So only one molecule is involved in the rate determining step. So the reaction will be a unimolecular reaction, which means only one molecule is involved. Uni means one. The reaction kinetics. Because rate determining step involves only one molecule, that means the overall rate of the reaction will be related to the concentration of the species in the rate determining step as a reactant. That's our alkyl oxonium ion. And we know alkyl oxonium ion is formed from alcohol. So the overall rate of the reaction will be proportional to the concentration of the alcohol. It has nothing to do with anything else, just the alcohol. Okay, so we say the rate equals to the rate constant times the concentration of the alcohol. And the exponent here on the alcohol is 1. So the rate is related to only concentration raised to the power of 1. We call this first order reaction. As a result, this mechanism that we just saw is called the E1 mechanism. E1 stands for elimination unimolecular. Okay? So in the E1 mechanism, the key here is the formation of the carbocation. E1 mechanism will involve carbocation as the intermediate. Okay? The relative reactivity of alcohols decreases in the order of tertiary, secondary to primary. This is because tertiary carbocation forms faster, so tertiary alcohols react faster. Okay, and whenever carbocation is involved, we need to consider carbocation rearrangement. Okay, so that's an old topic, right? Let's see one more example here. Can you predict the product from dehydration of this alcohol? Consider carbocation rearrangement. So here is the product. It's a tetra-substituted double bond, not tri-substituted double bond. So how does the product form? It will form a carbocation first. Then this carbocation will rearrange. So we are going from a secondary carbocation to a tertiary carbocation after the hydride shift. Then for this newly formed tertiary carbocation, there are 3 types of beta hydrogens. And based on Zaytev's rule, hydrogen will be removed from the carbon with fewer hydrogens. That's the carbon on the left-hand side. That's how the product is formed. Okay? So again, carbocation is involved. So this is the E1 mechanism. And the tertiary alcohol favors E1 mechanism. Or if we can rearrange the carbocation to give a tertiary carbocation, that reaction favors the E1 mechanism.